You say she was a customer?
Yeah, 5 or 6 times that we know of.
Perhaps you can come back tomorrow, speak with the maitre d'. I'm usually in the back office.
Why can't we speak to the maitre d' now?
Called in sick, and we are in the middle of our busiest seating.
Well, we're in the middle of a busy homicide investigation.
Let me get Roberto, our head waiter. Maybe he can help you. These gentlemen are with the police, Roberto. They'd like to see if you could help identify a photograph.
Ah, ma certo, absolutely. Ah, sì, la signorina Hall. Used to come here with her gentleman friend, but not so much anymore.
You wouldn't happen to remember this gentleman friend's name?
Oh, sure, sure. First rule of ristorante business, eh? Never forget the name. It's, Alfredo. No, Arturo. Alessandro. No. Alec, sì, Alec Conroy.
Alec Conroy?
He and the signorina, always the deuce in the corner. Very private, very romantic, huh?
Very nice.
I killed Karen Hall because I was having an affair with her, then stonewalled the investigation. It's absurd.
Is there another explanation?
Yes. The investigation into Karen's disappearance went nowhere because there was nowhere for it to go. It's as simple as that.
Especially not with a cover story about a witness in Albany.
The newsstand vendor told the troopers she was there. I relied on that.
They don't see it that way.
Really? Well, their activity reports say they do.
Activity reports you supervised.
I have the distinct feeling that somebody's about to read me my rights.
Do you need your rights read, Mr. Conroy?
Off the record? Okay. On the record, then. Karen and I had been involved. Past tense. I broke it off. End of story.
I assume you can tell us where you were the night she disappeared.
We already know it wasn't in Albany.
I wouldn't have taken it on faith either. I was with someone else.
Not your wife.
My wife and I weren't together at the time. I had my own place. Now, if that offends your longhorn, self-righteous sense of right and wrong, then so be it.
What offends us is withholding information from an investigation.
If I go public with my relationship with Karen, I jeopardize cases, maybe even my career. I wasn't about to do that. Not when I had an alibi.
We know you received a letter just like this one.
Alec would never harm me.
Karen Hall made the same assumption.
Ask yourself this, Miss Marner. When this trial is over and Alec Conroy doesn't need you anymore, are you going to go out on your boat with him again?
We know all about it.
Security from the marina told us someone took your boat out that night. It's one thing to provide an alibi when you have doubts. It's quite another when you know the truth.
It's called accessory after the fact, and it makes you just as guilty of the murder as Conroy.
No man is worth 25 years in prison.
Alec called that night.
Where was he?
At a payphone.
What did he say?
He said he needed my help. He needed me. I asked him what was wrong. Do I have to do this?
What did Conroy want from you?
He just said he needed to use the boat to meet him at the marina.
Were you on board?
He took the key.
Did he have anything with him?
A duffel bag. A big one.
A plea. You can't be serious.
Alec, let's hear them out at least.
Hear what out? Without Dr. Breitel, all you've got is circumstantial evidence. We all know how juries hate to convict on that.
And yet sometimes they do.
Trust me, this one won't.
They might, after they learn about all the blood in the bathroom.
From what I understand from your forensic report, the blood couldn't be typed. It was too contaminated.
Alec.
I remember reading somewhere that bleach can do that.
Aren't you forgetting about a large duffel bag you were carrying that evening?
Oh, the one that Alice never actually looked into? It's in my closet. I could bring it in if you'd like. Of course, it could be one that just looks like it. Any event, I doubt Alice will be able to tell the difference either way.
We also have a witness in the marina.
A witness to what? A late-night cruise? Do you know how many times I've taken that boat out? Even when Alice's husband was alive.
You don't seriously expect to walk on this.
I understand you've never seen me in court. Consider this a preview. Stand.
I'd known Alec for 12 years.
You described your relationship with the defendant as passionate.
Passionate. Supportive.
Supportive how?
Alec was not a man who found it easy to let his guard down with others. With me, it was different. He trusted me. He confided in me.
And that night he confided in you?
Alec asked for my help. He needed to use the boat.
Those were his words, use the boat?
Yes. And I let him. I let him throw that girl's body into the river.
Objection.
Sustained.
Thank you. Nothing further. Doctor, please read the highlighted portion in the third full paragraph on page 2.
In the light of this, Ms. Hall, I believe that Mr. Conroy should be considered an immediate and very real physical threat.
What was the basis for your opinion?
Mr. Conroy suffers from CDR, control domination response.
In lay terms?
He needs to feel that everything in his life, especially the people in his life, are under his control, domination.
Specifically?
Just look at the women in his life. Devoted wife, widowed mistress, aspiring employee. All of them share a vulnerability to him, a dependence. When Mr. Conroy realized he could no longer control Ms. Hall, you can see how her defiance could be perceived by him as jeopardizing more than just their relationship.
Did he say he was going to kill Ms. Hall?
He said he wanted to. And I believed him.
Nothing further.
And one on the table, McCoy?
You've got to be kidding.
So what is?
Murder 2.
I can get that after trial.
Not with a promise of 20 to life.
Well, you're gonna knock 5 years off the bottom.
And we take no position on parole.
He might just see the light of day again.
The light of day. Do you know how many times I sat on the other side of this table and said those same words to a defendant?
Now or never, Mr. Conroy.
The ticking clock. Always an effective strategy. You've got your plea, McCoy.
You'll have to allocute.
Oh, is that really necessary?
For months, Karen Hall's family has been plagued by questions of how and why. We're not leaving this room until your client answers them.
It's okay. You know, this may come as a big surprise to all of you, but I loved Karen.
Killing someone's a pretty sick way of saying I love you.
When I first met Karen, she was just another local girl in cheap shoes. She didn't know the first thing about being a professional, about talking like one, or like dressing like one, or like thinking like one. I was the one who taught her that.
And then you betrayed her.
No, that was her choice, not mine. I was willing to give up my wife and my children for her. She just couldn't appreciate the sacrifice.
So then?
So then I called her late that afternoon and told her I had some new information about the case. She was reluctant about coming over to the apartment, but I told her it'd just be a few minutes. But I could tell in her voice she didn't want to come.
But she did.
Loyalty to the job, Miss Carmichael. I taught her that, too.
Where'd you get the gun?
Alice's, a few weeks before.
What happened after Ms. Hall got there?
At first, we talked about work. I wanted her to think everything was going to be okay. But then I brought up the relationship, and Karen said she was uncomfortable with the subject, that it was over. She started putting on her coat. I told her to sit down. She said I couldn't tell her what to do anymore. So I reached for her, and she pulled away. And she said that the thought of her being touched by me again made her sick. That's when she saw the gun. And she gave me this look, like she knew she'd gone too far.
Why not just let her walk away?
I couldn't. Karen should have known I could never do that.
Now she does.
I proposed August 11th at the Water Club. She started to cry. So did I. So yes, we were engaged for exactly a month.
I'm sorry.
The worst thing is I never got to say goodbye.
Have to work late tonight, Boo-Boo. We'll talk tomorrow. Love you. Bye.
She called me Boo-Boo. Stupid, huh?
Was that the night before?
I can't bring myself to erase it.
Did Kelly have a ring like this?
We would have bought a house before we wasted money on something like that. I should have gone to her place when she was done with work. We could have had a glass of wine, and I would have spent the night.
Come on, guys. It's not like I'm the first man on the planet to step out on his wife.
And you ain't the first man whose mistress ended up dead either.
What, the Trade Center's my fault, too?
No, but we don't think she died in the Trade Center.
You're saying what?
We found a skeleton dumped in a lot in Hell's Kitchen that very well may be Kelly Summers.
That's impossible.
It had a ring that you paid for.
I'm sure I'm not the only one who bought that ring.
No, you're not. But it just so happens that everybody else has theirs.
What happened? Kelly start to put a little pressure on?
I have a wife and 3 children. I'm not going to announce my affair on the ticker in Times Square. I loved Kelly. What reason in the world would I have for wanting her dead?
Maybe she wasn't opposed to that Times Square ticker thing.
You were with her the night of September 10th.
We had dinner. I dropped her off at her apartment. That's it. They found her hand, for God's sakes.
And you caught a break. Kelly never got the chance to break the news to the missus.
I've been through the 12 stages of grief, Miss Sutherland. Nobody told me I was gonna have to start all over again.
I know how you feel, Mr.
No, you don't. I'm sorry. It's just, when you mourn, you try to start your life over. The world goes round, right? Lee and I met in a group.
My brother was in ladder 66.
I'm sorry.
The emptiness, it still hasn't gone away. We try to tell ourselves it was fate.
I knew Kelly better than anyone. I don't care what the email says. There's no way she was having an affair.
If I could see her belongings.
Sure. I didn't know what to do with them. I put them in storage. I'll give you the key.
Kelly wasn't threatening to expose their affair, Jack. She wanted to call it off. That's what the email was referring to. She was dumping him, and he couldn't handle it.
This girl is credible?
Yeah, she has no reason to lie. Hagen said he dropped her off at home. She saw them drive off.
Doesn't mean he didn't bring her home later.
She was dumping her lover, Jack. Believe me, she'd want to talk to somebody about it. And Molly was the only one who knew about the affair. Hagen lied to the cops.
Doesn't prove he killed her.
2 years ago, he had an affair with the secretary and fired her when she tried to break it off. She had to get a restraining order against him. He can't stand to lose, Jack.
Call Van Buren.
What about Branch?
There comes a time in every political life when a man has to risk getting a couple over easy right in the kisser.
Not again. I got a game up in Westchester in 30 minutes.
Well, that's a 2-stroke penalty for missing your tea time.
Bradley Hagen, you're under arrest for the murder of Kelly Summers.
What?
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford...
When was the last time you saw Kelly?
September 11th was Tuesday. We had coffee Monday morning.
How many times a week would you say you saw each other?
Depended on work.
Hers or yours?
Hers mostly. But however busy we were, we tried to have breakfast at a coffee shop that's near both our offices. Actually, that's where we first met.
On the morning of September 11th, did you and Kelly have breakfast together?
No.
Why not?
She didn't show up.
So you don't know if she went to work that morning, do you?
No.
Was that the first time Kelly didn't show up for breakfast, Mr. Hausman?
No. Sometimes her boss wanted her in early.
So you didn't think twice about it when she didn't show?
No. Not really.
I'll show you what I'll call Defendant's Exhibit 4.
Oh my God.
Approach. Let me have that.
No way, Your Honor. This is only meant to outrage the jury.
My client's defense is that the deceased died when the towers came down. This is evidence.
Evidence to make the jury throw up? Rule of thumb. In my court, that's inadmissible.
We'll call this Defendant's 5. Do you recognize it, Mr. Hausman?
Yes. It's Kelly's purse.
The one she has with her every morning when you have breakfast before work?
Yes, that's right.
So this would be Kelly's lipstick, then?
Yes.
This would be Kelly's driver's license?
Objection.
Her compact?
Your Honor.
Her keys?
Enough, counselor.
Go ahead, Mr. Hausman, take it. Could you read what's printed on the yellow tag attached to the strap?
Found 112 yards northeast of Church in Vesey.
Thank you, Mr. Hausman. A terrible thing happened to this country on September 11th. It affected some of us more than others. You have my heartfelt sympathy.
Hope I was okay on the stand.
You were fine.
I told you, honey.
No, I asked you to come down here because I wanted to ask you to search your memory for anything that might help prove Hagen's affair with Kelly.
I'd tell you if I remembered anything.
Even if it hurt.
Of course.
Because your fiancée cheating on you, that would certainly hurt a lot.
I still don't believe she would.
That's interesting. Because it appears you read all about it.
Where did you get that?
The question should be, where did you get it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
We took this off your computer. You knew all about Kelly's affair with Bradley Hagen.
This is my email.
Donald loves to surf the net, but somehow he keeps ending up in his lover's email.
Let me ask you, Mr. Hausman. The money you received as compensation for Kelly's death, what did you do with it?
I gave it to the Police and Firemen's Relief Fund.
That's interesting because they have no record of it. I mean, don't you think that someone would record a $43,000 donation?
That's a nice ring, Leah. Mr. Hausman give it to you? Let me guess. He gave it to you in mid-March.
How did you know?
It might have something to do with the timing of the check Mr. Hausman received as reparations for the loss of his fiancée.
Oh my God.
She cheated. She said she'd marry me, but she cheated. She tried to deny it, but no, I knew. I knew. He had money, but I loved her. Leah,
sorry.
please.
If you can't play with the big boys, cut them off.
Dennis Caulfield?
Detective Stabler. Detective Benson. We're investigating the murder of Tracy Henderson.
Phil, cover my lines.
Sure, Dennis.
When?
2 nights ago.
Oh, my God. That's why.
Why?
We had tentative dinner plans, but she didn't call.
Did you try to call her?
No, I just assumed she got caught up with her work. Yeah, she was so dedicated.
What would you end up doing that evening?
I ended up watching the Yankee game with my friend Bill Griswold. $150.
This is just a formality, but could we get Mr. Griswold's phone number?
Of course. Oh, I forgot. He gave me this.
Anyone else you might have been meeting that evening? Another guy?
Another guy? No, she didn't date anyone else.
You sure?
Absolutely. Maybe one of her friends from the literacy center? Out clubbing with the girls?
Did you ever find out why Tracy was in Times Square?
All we know is she had tentative plans with her boyfriend, but she never called him.
Now, you confirmed that against her phone logs, right?
We pulled them, but...
We got diverted by the Ridley investigation.
Okay, so now you're diverted back.
Dennis's alibi checked.
If Tracy was leading a double life, the boyfriend would be the one to know. Did it seem like maybe he was holding something back?
I didn't get that from him. He was very forthcoming, very helpful.
Maybe too helpful?
He was pretty quick with that card. His alibi's business card right in his pocket, just kind of...
He was watching the game with his best friend. I know my best friend's number by heart.
You know what they call accomplice in prison, Billy? Bunkmate.
25 to life is a serious downgrading from the old lifestyle.
Okay, Dennis's real girlfriend is a buyer for product from Scarsdale. They're probably gonna get married.
How'd Tracy feel about that?
Dennis just wanted a little strange before he settled down. Saw Tracy at a club one night, very hot. Every guy wants her, Dennis gets her. Problem is, the package doesn't match the wrapping. She's very inexperienced.
A virgin.
It was even her first glass of wine. She wakes up the next morning with a big hangover and in love with Dennis.
So poor Dennis didn't get the jungle fever he was looking for.
More like iced mocha.
So what happened that night?
She calls him up, wants to go dancing. Says she's even gonna wear something wild for once. But Dennis stood her up and went home alone. That's why he asked me to lie for him. He's my friend.
So get a new one. There's nothing that links the boyfriend to Tracy's crime
There's
scene.
gotta be something, and I'm not gonna go questioning him until we have something concrete to hold over him.
Our luck, his lawyer's even slicker than he is.
Let's go over it again. What are we not seeing here?
What is there to see? We have no hair, no fibers, no prints.
At the crime scene, he had a partial footprint.
It was the Vic's blood tracked in the shoe print.
What have you got on the shoe?
Size 11C, exotic Italian. Valetti brothers.
You mean the Valenti brothers?
Yes, I do.
How'd you know that?
They run an ad every week in the Times highlighting the fact that they're exclusively available at one location.
In that size, we've sold maybe a dozen pair. They're new this fall.
They're beautiful.
They're $820 a pair. Are you in the market?
Yes, I am, for those 12 receipts. Would you pull them for us?
You want to know what kills me? Is even if we proved that he owned the shoes, he still had plenty of time to ditch them.
Trust me, that jerk did not throw away $800 shoes.
This is what we got from his place. This kid's a closet of Imelda Marcos. Got wingtips, tassels, white bucks, everything but the ugly-ass shoes you're looking for.
We cover everything in that warrant.
We searched his office, we searched his gym locker. We searched everything.
Everything but the house he grew up in. Current voter's registration card.
Still his legal address.
That was taken spring break in Vermont. She loved to ski.
She's quite pretty.
Not anymore. You couldn't stomach the photos we got from the crime scene.
Why are you telling us this?
Because she was your son's dirty little secret. Although she was a lovely, decent girl who came from an affluent family, a lot like yours.
Except she was black. Would you have had a problem with that?
No, of course not.
But he never mentioned her to you.
This is insane.
You don't know our son.
Do you?
What are you doing here?
You mind if we take a look in your bag?
Yeah, I do mind.
Too bad.
Why'd you kill her, Dennis? Did you make problems with your real girlfriend?
Maybe you took her out for one last fling.
Perhaps I'd better call my lawyer.
Perhaps you should.
Okay, Dennis, so what? You took her out for pizza and a quickie outside in the open? It's pretty kinky. She refused you. Your friend Griswold said she's gonna square.
That's so frustrating.
So you got so pissed off when she refused you, you got a little too rough, didn't you? Try and shake some sense into her?
And when she didn't get up, you panicked and dragged her into the alley.
Oh, man, what am I gonna do now, huh? Ah, whatever. I'll just dump her body and run. I'll wake up the next morning, go to work, pretend nothing ever happened, and maybe it'll actually be that way.
No.
No?
No.
But something did happen, Dennis.
I have no idea what they're talking about, Mother.
Really? Then why didn't you mention her?
Well, I was going to,
Oh, my
but you...
God. He's wearing them.
Nice shoes.
I told you, I have nothing else to say.
Miss Byrne, I'd like you to meet Elise Brody.
This is what Ned Loomis did to me. Oh,
What time did he get to your apartment, Miss Byrne?
he woke me. It was 2:30 in the morning.
And what did he tell you?
He said he had hurt Paige. He said it was an accident. It was her fault.
An accident. Did he tell you what he meant?
He told me he was drunk. She wanted him to have kinky sex with him. He said he didn't want to. He was engaged. And she dragged him into bed. And when he fought her off, he hurt her.
Do you consider Ned Loomis to be a trustworthy person?
Objection. Irrelevant. Mr. Stone is asking her whether she believed him.
Overruled. The witness may answer the question.
No. No, I don't find him to be a trustworthy person.
And would you tell the jury why?
Objection. Your Honor, now he wants an opinion on an opinion.
Overruled.
Thank you, Your Honor. Once again, Miss Byrne, why do you consider the man you are engaged to be untrustworthy?
The night that it happened, Ned told me that nothing like this had ever happened to him before. I believed him. Until I spoke to a woman who told me he had choked her.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay. Mr. Stone knows damn well that you can't allow...
Sustained. The jury will disregard that last statement. And you pull that again in my courtroom, you'll regret it.
No further questions.
Ben, coming in.
3 hours, 12 minutes. It's way too fast. We're dead.
Has the jury reached a verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
Will the defendant please rise? As to the sole count of the indictment, murder in the second degree, how do you find?
As to the sole count of the indictment, we find the defendant guilty.
Feel good?
Well, Well, it's just preventive detention. Loomis destroyed every life he ever touched. We didn't change that one iota.
At least we gave him justice.
Justice doesn't give you grandchildren.
Calluses on the fingers of her left hand, brown discoloration on her jaw. She's a string player.
Natalie Dreisner, 24. Manhattan Symphony Orchestra. I take it she didn't slip in the shower.
One shot to the head. Entrance wounds in the right temporal area.
Singeing and smudging. Up close and personal. But the shell casing's over by the makeup table.
There's also some deep muscle bruising on the left side of her neck. The fence wounds on the hands and the arms. She put up one hell of a struggle.
So after he pops her, he drags her in here, covers her up, and makes her comfortable.
Yeah, real labor of love.
The cash is still in the wallet.
Jewelry still in the box. Violin still here. Anything appear missing to you?
Like I said, I just patrolled the grounds.
Did you hear the gunshot?
Rooms down here are soundproof. Can't hear nothing from the outside.
Any service exits nearby?
2 on the basement level.
All right, let's go.
Layout down here's like a maze. Got lost a few months ago. Was howling and banging an hour before anyone heard me.
We'll drop breadcrumbs.
She was killed just after the reception. You got a guest list?
Mostly blue hairs with season tickets.
Whoever did it knows his way around. The place is like a catacomb.
Miss Dreisner ever complain about anybody harassing her? Any stalking fans?
She had her share of fan letters, nothing ominous. The classical audience is a rather staid group.
Were there any men in her life? Boyfriends, ex-boyfriends?
None that I knew of. Between rehearsing, performances, and tour dates, she wouldn't have the time. Frankly, the only quality time I share with my wife is during rehearsals. She is a harpist with the orchestra.
That night at dinner, she told me that she'd finally decided to sign with us. Ironic, isn't it?
She was leaving the Manhattan Symphony.
Going solo would have put her on another level entirely. Recording contracts, TV appearances, international tour dates.
Sounds great. What was the problem?
Carl Rager didn't want it. I tried to talk with him, didn't get very far though. He said they were joined to the hip. I knew from her that he had this Fengali-like control over her.
How so?
Really not my place to say.
A subpoena can make it your place.
They were having an affair.
For how long?
A year, maybe more. It was taking a huge toll.
On Miss Dreisner.
And Mrs. Rager. She'd cornered Natalie a few weeks ago, read the riot act. Natalie said that was one of the reasons she'd agreed to sign with us. She wanted to get away from it all, professionally and emotionally.
Are you paying any attention at all to your rhythm? Because I can tell you, it's totally not specific. It's not just staying out of the rests. It's how you come in at the dotted 16ths. If you're not prepared to render this with any kind of precision, please don't waste my time.
Sorry. I'll try it again.
Don't try. Do it. What can I do for you?
We need to ask you some more questions.
Of course I knew about the solo offer. I encouraged her to take it.
Not worried about losing her?
I've been conducting for 20 years. I've watched a lot of artists come and go.
Including artists you've been sleeping with?
At the risk of sounding crass, she wasn't the first.
Is that why you neglected to tell us?
That was out of respect.
For whom, Miss Dreisner?
And for my wife.
Oh, she knew?
Marion is an exceptional woman. I've always been candid with her.
It's been 19 years. I don't expect you to understand.
Do you think that he was in love with Miss Dreisner?
No, absolutely not.
So you didn't pull her aside and have a little chat about the sanctity of marriage?
Their affair was dividing the orchestra. The other musicians felt she was accorded a special status. She would show up late to rehearsal. She didn't bother to review the scores. I had a bad day. I lashed out at her.
Mrs. Rager, does your husband own a gun?
Oh, I was raised in New York, and so when we moved up here, I was very uneasy at night. All that silence was deafening. So Carl bought me a gun.
Mind if we take a look at it?
I don't have it anymore. You see, a few months ago, a neighbor's house was broken into, and he was shot to death with his own gun. It just terrified me.
What did you do with it?
I dropped it in the Hudson River.
Van Buren just called. Carl Rager has a Sig Sauer P225 registered in his wife's name.
Oh, that's a big surprise. I found this button under the back seat. Tiny brown spots. Could be dry blood. There's also a small white fiber attached to it.
There's a 2mm spot with a microscopic pattern of blood spatter surrounding it. Type matches the victim.
You get enough for DNA?
We sent it out.
What about the fiber?
Yep, high quality Italian knit cotton. White dress shirt of some kind.
I love it when it all comes together like this.
The relationship between the conductor and his string section is quite intimate. In the best cases, there is an implicit trust, a deep level of communication, and a shared passion. I had all that with Natalie. Over time, it led to a sexual relationship.
Was there ever a violent nature to your relationship?
Never. She was like a delicate flower. I gave her the freedom to bloom. I nurtured her. How could I destroy her? She was part of me.
Mr. Rager, will you describe what you did that night after the concert?
I went to my dressing room, showered, changed, and drove home to my wife in Chappaqua.
And what time was that?
About 11:30.
What was your reaction when Miss Dreisner told you she was leaving you?
She never told me any such thing.
So Mr. Stern misunderstood what she told him she was meeting you to do?
Either misunderstood or misrepresented.
Was it misunderstanding or misrepresentation when you failed to tell the police about the affair between yourself and Miss Dreisner?
Neither. It is that I didn't want to hurt my wife.
There must be some mistake.
There's no mistake. We contacted Alan Bostwick, your husband's CPA. For the past 3 years, Carl's been actively selling off stocks and mutual funds. He places the proceeds into a money market account, then withdraws the cash, and then wires the transfers to an offshore account in Switzerland. Here are the wire receipts and your husband's passport. There are also numerous trips to Switzerland, none of which correspond to tour dates. And you thought you were broke.
Carl said we lost money in the market. That's why he hired Alan. Said he was a financial genius, that he could make up the money that we lost.
Mrs. Rager, Alan Bostwick's specialty is helping rich guys hide assets from women they're planning on divorcing.
Carl is not planning to divorce me.
Do the math, Mrs. Rager. $2 million socked away for 3 years, and you haven't seen a penny. A year ago, your husband transferred the deed on your house in London.
No. We sold that house less than 3 months ago to pay for legal expenses.
Look at the deed of transfer. He still owns the house. It's just registered to his corporation. I know how hard this must be for you. He did all of this for her. A girl died, Mrs. Rager. He's now involved you not only in his infidelities, but in a murder.
The orchestra gave a performance on the night of Miss Dreisner's death, is that right?
Yes. Rachmaninoff.
What happened after the performance?
I went to Carl's dressing room to see if he was ready to leave. He said Natalie needed to see him. I told him I would wait.
Was it your habit to wait for your husband while he was seeing Miss Dreisner?
I knew that Natalie wanted to talk to him about her leaving the orchestra. I knew that Carl would be upset. I waited to see what would happen.
Marion, please.
Be quiet, Mr. Rager. You're not conducting here.
He told me that Natalie wasn't leaving. I told him to go home. I told him that I would meet him there later.
For God's sake, Marion.
Objection. Spousal privilege.
Can we get a recess?
Mr. Rager, you will refrain from speaking out of turn.
I need to talk to my wife.
After he told me that she wasn't leaving, I knew what I had to do.
Can't do this. I won't let you do this.
That's it. Remove this man from the courtroom.
My husband did not kill Natalie. I did.
She's lying. She's trying to protect me. I must be allowed to speak with her.
I'll see everybody in chambers now. Did you plan to kill this girl, Mrs. Rager?
Once the affair took on a life of its own, once Carl proved to me that he was unable to relegate it to the insignificant diversions the others had been, once Natalie indicated that she had no intention of abiding the ground rules that I had laid down, I felt I had no choice.
Marion, please.